What's going on, guys? So, out in the garage, like usual. I got some new parts, so I got this from Amazon. It's a little wiring kit. It was like 20 bucks, worked out pretty good. It's got all sorts of stuff, a little relay for the electric fan, little temperature sender and stuff. It's got a little circuit breaker, all the wiring you need. It worked out pretty slick, so 20 bucks you can't go wrong. So I'm going to see where I want to put it. Either I'm going to go in the intake there, or I'll probably just try and pull out that temperature sender in the head right there, wire that up. Stop by Princess Auto, which is like our Canadian Harbor Freight, and I picked up a couple of horns. Look at that. So they were 10 bucks each or something, so I should be able to get those wired up as well today. What else I got going on? I think that's kind of it. Then I got all the stuff inside to do. Put back the ignition switch, turn signal switch, and odds and ends. But hey, we're really getting there. So I'll get this kind of going. Unfortunately, like a bit of a noob, I fill the thing up with coolant. I'm going to have to pull the sender out of the head, so it's going to dump coolant. So I got to work pretty quick. It said in the instructions you just put it in with no Teflon tape or nothing like that. I guess it uses this for the ground. So seems pretty straightforward. I'll pull it out, put it back in real quick, and show you I got it kind of laid out. So here's the setup. I got it all kind of loose. None of the wires are tied away. This right here, that's a little sensor, so I managed to pull the other one out. Put this new one in real quick. This is the ground wire that goes to the little relay. And then there's a switch 12 volt that goes in just the fuse panel. The fan gets grounded. One side of the relay goes to the fan to power it. Other side of the relay goes across into this little circuit breaker and directly to the battery. That's how it wanted to be wired. So pretty slick little kit, super simple like I just said. So battery, circuit breaker into the relay, and all the relay is going to do is that's just you have heavy power going in and out, and then you can use smaller wire to ground it and power it. So you just use like whatever it's going to be, 16 gauge or 18 gauge, to basically turn the relay on and off, just an electrical switch. And as it's switched on, it puts constant power the whole way through. So I haven't tested it yet, but I have the key to the on position. You can see the gen light is on, which means everything is kind of powered up. So in theory, if I disconnect this, and this just has to ground, so as that gets hot, like a thermostat, it'll expand or do whatever it's going to do and ground itself. So if I ground this to this bolt, the fan goes on. So that's all that is. So that worked out pretty good. So in theory, as long as that switch is working properly, it should kick on at 180 and kick off at 170. So it should keep this thing nice and cool. So now I can clean these wires up a little bit and test it with the car actually running once it's hot. Before I do that, I'll probably put the horns in and wire it up so I'm not working on a hot motor. But that's pretty good. That's a pretty slick little kit for 20 bucks. Okay, so I installed these horns. Just kind of put them in. Pretty simple. All I do is I just wire coming from inside into one spade connector, and then one doubles up and one goes over the other horn. So that works, and then you just ground it, the little mount. You guys are going to find this shocking, but I actually had bought a horn switch and I can't find it with my organization, which is pretty rare, right? But anyway, so this is the wire that comes through. But if I just put it onto one of these things that switch power, it works, which is good. It means all my connections and all that are working just fine. So I got to run this up behind the dash, and then I was going to I did on the 55 too, where the cigarette lighter was. I just had a little momentary switch and it fit in there perfectly. Besides the ignition, which I have hanging down. So I'll try and find that. That's a real pain in the ass. I took off some weather stripping from a door I had in the basement so I can finish doing this one because it's all rotted on the bottom side. And I taped up a piece of weather strip that I had. Well, I got a bunch of it off an old deck lid. So I'm making progress. I don't know where the heck I put that switch. Maybe it's still inside. I got it from Amazon. It comes in a little package. So I'm going to go in there and look. Hopefully I'll find it. When you guys see me next, hopefully the horn will be working. believe it or not, I found the switch. I was shocked as well. It was actually inside. So I haven't touched any of the wiring under the hood. It's still all loosey-goosey. That's, you know, kind of miscellaneous over here as well. There was a hole already on the dash. I don't have any of the trim, which I really want to track down. I think I'll make it look a lot nicer. I got the little block-off plate for the radio and the clock. But yeah, here's the button. Works just fine. And then just one-handed. Turn the key off. Doesn't work. So there we go. Everything's pretty much ready to go here. I got to do a lot of cleanup, make it look a little nicer, tuck some wires up and all that. But it's supper time right now, so I'm going in. And I'm sure I'll be back out later to tidy everything up, maybe let this thing run, see if that fan switch works. Making progress. Alright, so I got the car kind of halfway out. I just backed 55 up. So I'm going to let it run. Everything's all hooked up. Again, everything's just real loose and stuff like that, but nothing's touching any exhaust or anything. It's spinning around, so it's good enough for now. I got my little infrared temperature gun. So right now it's at about 80 degrees. I just backed it out, so hopefully the thermostat will open up. I got the cap on, it'll build some pressure, and at 180 or so degrees, the fan will kick on. In the meantime, I'm gonna start working on this weather strip, because otherwise I think I'm basically done. I gotta do a little bit of screwing around with these backup lights. I want to take them out because I'm not gonna run any. Tomorrow I'll probably stop by after work, get another temporary tag so I can drive around. It's Wednesday today. We'll drive around for a couple days, maybe next week take it in for an inspection. And I might actually have legitimate license plates on it, unless the guy finds a bunch of stuff he's not happy with. So let it run for a bit. I'll bring it back hopefully once the fan kicks on or when it's overheated. So there we go, the fan's on, nice and quiet. Cylinder head is 165, 170 degrees. So that's pretty good. It's got decent flow. The top of the radiator is still only 100 degrees, so it's good. It's dripping just a little bit from that fitting, so I can try to crank it up a little bit. I mean, no pipe tape seems funny to me, but I guess that's what it wants for a proper ground. I'm pretty stoked on that. Anyways, it's this thing played around for 15 minutes before it heated up. It's getting dark out. I'm kind of halfway through this weather strip. Such a pain getting in there, I gotta say. Almost makes me want to take the door off, but we'll see. I'll struggle through that. Around the bottom, a little bit of tape, leave that overnight, and like I said, I'll be back at it tomorrow. I'll get that temporary insurance. We'll go from there. So see you guys in the morning. In the meantime, hit that subscribe button. We'll be driving this thing in style tomorrow. All right, well, it's the next day out in the garage. I picked up a couple of valves and some clamps because I want to put some valves on these heater hoses because the heater core, it drips a little bit there. So close that off. That's way easier than fixing it for now anyways. I got to get in here, tighten up that little sender. Be careful with that, make sure it's all good. A few zip ties, get some of these wires cleaned up. I got some more temporary registration. Hook up the plate lights, clean up a few little things, and take this thing down to the shop, maybe do a proper transmission flush on it because it's still foamy. So yeah, I'll get to it. Running again, fan's working, kicking on and off. I just wanted to run it, get thermostat flowing because I had those lines apart, make sure there's no air in there, it's not overheating, which seems like it's happy. Had to put a little more ATF in there. I'm going to take it for a ride down and get the transmission, flush it right out properly there with the machine. It's still kind of milky, and when it gets hot it yaks fluid out, and then it's low on fluid and doesn't want to go into gear. So we'll see once it's there and get under it, see if there's any leaks or something like that while it's running maybe. Overall, I think it's pretty happy. So road trip bound. Wish me luck. Alright, well, I'm back home. Real shocker, I forgot the camera here. Flushed out the trans, everything went good there. It's still a little kind of frothy, but yeah, put some miles on it and do it again. Otherwise, I was pretty happy with it. Drove down the road nice, shift through all the gears good. I got to mess around with the alignment a little bit. The wheels aren't exactly where they should be, so I'll pull out tape measure, put a few shims in there, she should be good. A couple leaks I found. This little valve here from the car itself is leaking a little bit. Transmission leaks from the speedometer cable. That little O-ring must not be too happy in there. And the rear end's developed a pinion leak and axle seal leak. So you can't even leave these things out for 30 years. They actually deteriorate, right? So a few more things to add to the list to figure it out, but it's the weekend coming up. Today's Thursday, so next couple days I should be able to get some work done. Unfortunately, the weather's going to be kind of crappy, but lots of progress. Drove nice, didn't overheat. I'm happy with it. That's it for me tonight and this video, so hit that subscribe button, like the video, tell your friends, all those things. Hopefully I'll have one more video on this thing, and then it'll be kind of ready for inspection and it's done, and then it's Chevy truck time.